Let's talk about the end of app dating, the death of dating apps, the closing of a dreadful era. Now, I'm going to break this video up into a couple of parts, but we're going to start with the epic Bumble fumble. I think a lot of people have seen what's been going on, but I'm going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the social context around this and also share some terrible dating stories myself. But first, for those who are new here, hi, my name is Shayna Conde. I'm a journalist. I also talk a lot about decentering men, child-free living, a whole bunch of other stuff. So if any of that sounds interesting, please like, share, subscribe, all of that great stuff. Now, let's dive into the Bumble fumble. Now, for those of you who are new to this, let's just catch everybody up for a quick moment. So let's start at the beginning of Bumble's end. So starting around late April, Bumble started posting these kinds of funny memes about like the woes of dating as women and talking about a huge rebrand that they're going to be doing. So like, for example, this picture says, "I'm not like other squires," and this lady is very clearly uninterested. The caption reads, "Exhausted women through the years, fed up with doing all the work. It's time for a change. Chapter 1 of the new Bumble coming 4/30/2024." So yeah. Anyway, so what does this started to create some excitement because Bumble was known as the site for where women were essentially doing all of the legwork. We were starting conversations, we were initiating. It was a place where, some women were supposed to feel empowered, but it was really just creating a space where men could be even lazier in their lack of approach or enthusiasm towards the women that they could be dating. And a lot of the I actually was lightly enjoying the memes. It's not like I was following Bumble, but whenever they would come up, they would they would put a smile, a gentle smile on my face. And there was a lot of hype, like dating needs a wake up call. We're on it. Chapter 1 of the new whatever, right? So it started to build up a lot of people were starting to get excited. Like, was this going to be a space where it was going to be safer for women to date? I know we've all heard so many terrifying stories of men being absolutely insane, dangerous, concerning, and still not great, but at least your safety isn't but just terrible dating experiences from Bumble to Hinge to Tinder to wherever, right? So this Bumble rebrand, we didn't know what was coming, but we were hoping for the best. And then what does Bumble do? In these now pulled ads from Bumble, they plastered on billboards shaming women for abstaining from not just dating, but more specifically from abstaining from sexual relations with men. A vow of celibacy is not the answer. Bumble. Thou shalt not give up on dating and become a nun. Bumble. Notice here that while it seems like the emphasis is on the dating side, it's not. The through line between point 1 and point 2 is that nuns take a vow of celibacy. They're talking about women not wanting to engage sexually with men specifically. Continuing on this disaster train, you know full well a vow of celibacy is not the answer. Women, just give it up to men. That's the answer. That's what makes everybody happy. So obviously, across the internet, people were enraged. People were enraged. It was a very disgusting time. A disgusting, unsettling, sticky, slimy. Nobody really likes dating apps as it stands right now. I have a bunch of articles that I'll be in stats that I'll be showing about that later, because this has truly been in a very vocal decline of popularity towards dating apps since 2018, 17. That's when these conversations started to become more popular. They were happening in smaller groups, but they started to become more popular. Diving into that later, but I picked this because it's an easy lead-in to the apology that Bumble has. So this user says Bumble needs to F off and stop trying to shame women into coming back to the apps, instead of them running ads targeted at men telling them to be normal. There's a consistent lack of awareness that these rooms full of booga, right? Now, and I'm not saying that there's only men in these rooms, though it is giving that. Anybody can subscribe to the booga. Pick me's. Pearl. Pearl speaks booga, right? So there is a growing emphasis for women and people that engage with straight heterosexual men to suck it up. Oh, it's not that bad. Just have sex with them and the world will be a better place. Just give them what they want so that way they don't go on temper tantrums and murder millions, right? Like there's that kind of energy that is being pushed onto the people that unfortunately are attracted to men, but more specifically the women and the femmes that are attracted to men, anybody that can breed with them. And so Bumble, being like advertising itself, making a name for itself as the dating app for women, now spearheading this in a new campaign, was like, oh no, everybody hates us. This is just one tweet that almost got 3 million views, and they were like, oh my God, we need to fix this. We need to make a formal apology so that way we can have a rebrand for our rebrand. And it didn't go well. Let's check out their apology. To our beloved Bumble community, we made a mistake. Our ads referencing celibacy were an attempt to lean into a community frustrated by modern dating. And instead of bringing joy and humor, we unintentionally did the opposite. Now, I'm going to dive a little bit more, and I'm just going to keep these in because there's construction going on outside. But I'm going to continue reading, but I just want to take a quick pause on here. They say that they're trying to lean into the frustrations of modern dating, but there was very few mentions of actual dating in these ads. There was a very heavy sexual focus that was in these ads directed towards women. And the quote unquote humor that they were talking about in these ads, it's if it was funny, it's funny to men, and men aren't funny. More specifically, male-centered humor isn't funny. It's it. Why are you trying to? It's not funny. There's a lack of complexity when you try to make humor for the privileged class. It's why punching down isn't funny. It's why when white people make jokes about black people, they never sit right. It's not funny, but they're trying to appease to who? Because this humor isn't directed towards women. But let's continue on. We've got a couple more slides to go. Some of the perspectives we've heard were from those who shared that celibacy is the only answer when reproductive rights are continuously restricted. Yes. From others for whom celibacy is a choice, one that we respect. It doesn't sound like it. And from the asexual community, for whom celibacy can have a particular meaning and importance, which should not be dismissed. Yes. We are also aware that for many, celibacy may be brought on by harm or trauma. Harm or trauma that, and this is me talking, harm or trauma that has been brought into many people's lives because of these demonic dating apps. There is a general lack of safety, concern for safety or security of women and femmes on these dating apps. The amount of women that I personally know that have been victimized, that have been stalked, that have been harassed, that have been hurt physically, emotionally, the women that have to go through so much therapy, psychological healing because of men that are on these apps that have been reported from these apps. And then it's it's giving booga. Let us continue. For years, Bumble has passionately stood up for women in marginalized communities and their right to fully exercise personal choice. We didn't live up to these values with this campaign, and we apologize for the harm it caused. Honestly, I've always hated Bumble. I feel like it's a space where men get to be lazier than they already want to be. I'm going to talk a little bit more later on about my experience using apps in the past. I deleted all of my apps long ago. And by long ago, I mean like give or take a year ago. But internationally, different apps have are more popular in different parts of the world, and they're all terrible. they're all terrible. But it's Bumble I have a particular hate for, especially during my time living in Europe. I'll talk about that later. But let's continue on. As I am somebody who is not just a woman, but also part of a marginalized community. I hate you, Bumble. I really do. If I could fart in your face, I would. Moving on. We're removing these ads from our global marketing campaign. But why? But why? You already said what you said. Stand 10 toes down. Sorry. Sorry. I hate you. I'm sorry. Okay. Bumble will be making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline along with other organizations as a part of our ongoing efforts to support the work being done around the world to support women, marginalized communities, and those impacted by abuse. Okay. That's good that you're putting your money where your mouth is. We will also be offering these partners this billboard space to display an ad of their choice for the duration of our reserved billboard time. Please keep speaking up. Wait, that's it? That's all they're doing? Oh my God, that's all they're doing. Please keep speaking up and tell us how we can be better. We care about you and will always be there for you with love and sincere appreciation. Bumble. Let's take a quick look at the comment section because I feel like what I'm getting ready to say, somebody had to have already said it. Let's read some of my favorite comments here. It's literally three and they're right next to each other. We're going to start with this one right up here by Classic Ray J. Lean into a frustrated community of disappointed celibate women? No. Lean into the frustration of disappointed incel men who is the accurate description of what y'all did. The celibacy community is impressed. We didn't ask for allyship from you. You dressed those ladies as nuns to insinuate that celibate women are recluse and limited. We are not. We are actually happy over here. Don't preach our message for us. We don't free us. We're good. There's very little else that I feel like I want to add onto here. This is correct. This is all correct. This is incel humor. They participated in incel humor. Somebody higher up in these comments said that they needed to get more women on their marketing team. Clearly, there are none. And if there are women on there, then they either did not speak up or they are women that live for male. They're pick-me's. It's really one of the two things that happened. Either they were silenced or they were pick-me's. Either they were quiet or they were pick-me's because it's all giving incel ha-has. But let's continue on with this one right down here. Why don't you use the app to educate men how to treat women with respect? Instead of just saying, hey, give us more ideas, we're going to donate some money and we're going to give up our billboard space, because we all know that there was more behind this probably very expensive rebrand, other than just like 3 or 4 billboards, or I don't know, maybe like 17, 18, maybe 20 billboards. Why not actually make this space a better space for all people involved? Why not completely replatform your app to be an education space for men? Why not partner with organizations that are supporting either men's mental health or men's rehabilitation? Because clearly they are feral, unwell, and need to be reintegrated into society. Why don't you put your money where the actual problem is? And yes, helping women who were affected by domestic abuse is helping the results of the problem. But why not focus at stopping the problem from occurring in the first place? And right underneath we have this, but they are still not getting it. It's not only about reproductive rights or asexuality. For many women across the country, it's because dating straight men has become just not worth the time and effort it takes, because men are not held to a higher standard regarding empathy, emotional intelligence, maturity, or communication. We are exhausted. And being celibate is easier than dealing with the dumpster fire that is trying to date as a straight woman, to be honest, regardless of age. This ad campaign is in such poor taste, especially because they're supposed to be advocating for women, not exploiting them to lower their standard for the atrocious hookup culture. Do better, Bumble. Honestly, I don't know if Bumble can do better. I think that they should throw the entire app in the garbage at this point. I don't know if they can necessarily recover from something like this unless they were to actually partner with programs that help to rehabilitate men. I don't see this as being a dating platform moving forward, but also dating platforms as a whole are dead or dying. Let's look at some stats from this article titled Dating Apps Are in Their Flop Era by Bustle. Talk to your friends, scroll social media, or just sit in a bar and listen. You will encounter a similar sentiment. Millennials are tired of dating apps, and Gen Z singles might not bother with them. I have some interesting information about this, the Gen Z part, but we'll get to that in a second. A 2023 survey of college and graduate students found 79% don't use dating apps even once a month. These companies are feeling the shift. Match Group, which owns apps Tinder, Hinge, Match.com, OkCupid, among others. Basically, it is the conglomerates for dating apps. So we can blame them for most of our traumas, has seen its stock drop 40% in the past year. Bumble founder and CEO Whitney Wolfe Herd stepped down in November after 10 years at the app, while Feld is struggling through a disastrous rebrand. Basically, everybody hates dating apps. Everybody hates dating apps, but I want to talk about Gen Z for a little bit because as a journalist, I get PR emails all the time talking about things that people want me to write about or advertise to a Gen Z audience. And in one of the emails that I got, this specific study was mentioned, and this was for a sexual wellness brand. I will not be sharing the name of it, but I found it interesting that they used this study for their sexual wellness promotions. So this study basically talks about how the COVID pandemic has affected, right up in the front line, top line, has affected the mental, physical, and emotional health of adolescents, the Gen Z generation, right? So it's basically Gen Z is having significantly less sex than other generations previously, and everybody's concerned. Oh my God, they're not having as much sex as before. We have to do something to fix this. We need them to have more sex. And I'm like, if it's fascinating that they use this article because it literally talks about why this is happening. Let's just start at the top. Results from ABES indicate that 37% of high school students experienced poor mental health during the pandemic, and 44% felt persistently sad or hopeless during the previous 12 months, a period covered by the World Health Organization's pandemic declared on fast forwarding. Oh, there was a burp. So sorry. Approximately 1 in 3 youths have experienced racism at school, which is significantly associated with poor mental health. Students who describe their sexual identity as lesbian, gay, bisexual, questioning, or other a sexual identity other than heterosexual, LGBTQ+, had a higher prevalence of poor mental health during the pandemic than heterosexual students. Approximately half of students reported experiencing emotional abuse by a parent or another adult in their home, 55%. Fast forwarding a little bit more because it talks about like racial demographics, which are important, but for the sake of brevity, let's just keep it booking. In addition, although approximately 1/4 of all students experienced hunger during the pandemic, white students experienced significantly less, 18.5, than other racial or ethnic groups. But that's still almost 1 in 5 white kids are hungry. And that's the lowest demographic. There are more important things than people having sex right now. Kids are sad, they're scared, they're confused, they're hurt, they're traumatized, and y'all want them to start having sex? There's no time to be horny. There's no time to really want to explore that side of yourself when your fundamental needs, the things that you need to survive on a day-to-day basis, are not in your hands. They're talking in the United States, they're talking about potentially in like Project 2025 getting rid of the Department of Education. And you want kids to be having sex? And And I know that I said that I was going to talk a little bit about some of my like dating app adventures, and by adventures I mean misadventures. It's all nonsense. But there's really more important things. There's really more important things. And I think that this Bumble fumble, I think that the fact that we in mass are moving away from dating apps and the commodification of relationships. Like, men are lonelier than ever. Men are arguably more unwell than ever. And I think that the internet is just kind of it's propagating, it's growing, it's making it bubble and booga up and over. It's too much. It's too much, right? So, with that, where do we go from here? I am personally, I've really been enjoying not being on dating apps. I've been enjoying meeting people organically. Have I dated since I've deleted my dating apps? No, no. Have I wanted to? I like the idea of, here's the issue. Here's the issue. I like who I am in relationship, but getting to know men, talking to men. I know when I like a man. Getting to know a new man, talking to multiple men. Oh my God. Oh my God. I used to talk to so many men. No wonder my skin was breaking out. I just want to say that I don't know if these things are related, but I feel like they are. Since I have deleted dating apps and I have spoken to so many less men on a regular basis, not only has my skin gotten better, but also the boobs be boobin'. The titties be tatty. And I'm like, I would like to say that it's a cause and effect. I would like to say that I have become more beautiful since I have stopped. Yeah, so not just externally but internally. I think that talking to men less has really done something good for me. And the dating apps just bring too many. You look at other species, you look throughout nature. This kind of issue doesn't come up. This kind of issue does not come up because the males have to prove themselves to the females to be within their space. Whether that is, generally it is for the males wanting to reproduce, but even to be within community with them, they have to prove themselves. That's all I'm saying. And for me, I don't want to talk to too many of y'all. So I need to see something. Something has to be done in person, and nothing's been done in person. So I'm just gonna keep living my life, doing my things, and I think that that's for the best. I'm not saying that everybody needs to live like this. I also did just like move to the Canary Islands for a little bit just to see what it was like. It's beautiful here. I do not like it though. I do not like it though. That's some had some rather unfortunate experiences since I've been here and like tried to go outside. It's not unsafe. It's just not for me. But these are the things that I get to do. And no, of course I didn't download a dating app while I'm here. They're pretty here. It's still booga. Booga. They speak Spanish booga, but it's booga. Bougle, if you will. But yeah, just those are my thoughts. And I would love to know yours. So please type them away in the comment section. Once again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, all that great stuff. And I will talk to y'all later. All right. Bye.